Okay, everybody. Just give me a second. I'm still setting up the camera. And then trying to find, setting up the camera and then also trying to find all of my stuff. Let's see. Trying to figure out which way is up. There we go. All right, let's get some light in on the situation. Okay. Actually, might be good to get some pen and paper. Okay, got some paper. Us. And then here's a pen. Okay. So, let's get started, because this is going to take a while. Just because... One second. One second, moving wires out of the way. Okay. So here is kind of the situation. Actually, let me... There we go. Now my microphone is not in the way. So let's get this sort of the situation of what's happening. So my friend saw a TikTok, and basically there is this chest in The Legend of Zelda. It looks something like this. I'll give it buck teeth. But essentially it's a chest. It looks like this. And he saw somebody, and basically the TikTok is person comes up, they give a knock on the door, and these are, I should say, these are lit up, these eyes, because in the game I believe they are purple. And then you go over, you knock on it, and then it makes like the little "you solved the thing" jingle from The Legend of Zelda. And then it basically, it opens up. Oh, sorry. It changes the color of the eyes. Um, It changes the color of the eyes, and then it pops itself open. And then it gives you some time to like pick out stuff, and then it closes again. And so my friend, he's not necessarily like gung-ho on this, but he would kind of like one. He was asking me about how much it would take cost for me to build one. And that's kind of what we're going into today. We're kind of going into the design, a couple different options. And then we are going to be bringing over our breadboard over here. And we are going to be seeing, basically figuring out how to break this into components and make this happen. So, and how many of these features make it into the final build really depends on the cost, how much he's willing to put in, and how much time and effort I'm willing to put into this. But I thought this was a really good stream and video idea. So I accepted it, even though after I looked at the TikTok, there's a lot going on in this little thing. So like all good little engineers, we are going to approach this problem by trying to simplify it as much as possible. So my approach to this is we're going to take this and we're going to break it into a system of its parts. So what does this thing need to do? Well, let's break it into a system of functions. So what's its first function? It needs to hold games. So that's its first function. Number 2, it needs to be able to open. Three, it needs to be able to close. This seems a little silly, but you'll see later why I'm breaking it up like this. Because we're breaking it up into functions. We could try and go like, hey, I have this thing that I want it to do and I have like components already, but oftentimes it's better to look at it as functions, what it needs to do. And then we go to the design. It's like, okay, now we have this part that does this thing that makes it do this function. Rather than the other way around. Is I have this part that does this function, and that's like your planning. Let's see, what else does it need to do? Potentially it needs to have light up eyes. And then possibly play music. And then I think the last thing it needs to do is it needs to somehow know. It needs to know somehow when to trigger these functions. So it needs some sort of sensor. So I should say it needs some sort of trigger that will make all these things happen. Whether we include all of these things or not, this is kind of what we are trying to do. So, I guess we can go on to the things I kind of wanted to focus on. I wanted to focus on possibly the light up eyes and the trigger, depending on what I have in my selection of parts. I have various resistors. I have like little LEDs, big LEDs, but I'm just going to focus on 1 or 2 of these today so I can kind of proof of concept them for myself. And then I might look into seeing how we can do other stuff. We might also do the music part because we did a musical piezo buzzer last time. I'm not sure if my friend will like the music quality, but that's kind of the sacrifice you make for portability. And we will figure out. I figure that the size of the it'd be better to start with the systems and then make the size of the box afterward, because the box basically does two things. Is it holds all the games, but it also holds all the components that make it do the things that my friend wants it to do. So I figure if we choose our components first, then we don't overly restrict ourselves on how big or small the box needs to be. You know, barring it being incredibly huge, etc. So huge that like you can't get the whatever mechanism you're doing to lift it to lift. Actually, we may not have, because I was looking through my stuff, I couldn't find any switches, and I couldn't find any like tiny microphones or anything. So we may work on the opening and closing parts and then the light up eyes, but we'll start with the light up eyes. So the light up eyes, so we want it to have two colors. So what functions do we need? We need it to change colors. So how can we make this happen? Well, there is one option, which I have here. We can use two different color LEDs. And we can switch in between them. This requires at most 2 pins. This will require 2 pins on our microcontroller. So we'll need 2 of these. Or we can also do... Actually, one second. Let me bring my computer over so I can actually see you guys. Yeah. Maybe I'll actually get a tablet for once, for like watching chat at some point. Maybe. Okay. Well, now I have eyes on chat. So hello, chat. So yeah, let me look into what we have. The other thing we can do is we can use, this is a really big one, but we can use an RGB. We can use an RGB. So this requires 4 pins. Or, well, I think it requires 3 pins. Plus ground. Same with the LEDs, require 2 pins plus ground. As long as usually we can get away with putting everything to the same ground. We really only need to worry about that if the signals start doing weird things, and they start making it do things that we don't want it to do. But for a project like this, I don't think we have enough signals for it to actually interfere with each other. I am not an electrical engineer, so I don't really know. The benefit of this is that it requires fewer pins. And it's simple. The downside is that we only get 2 colors. So we don't get to have any adjustability if my friend wants different colors for whatever reason. So this is set colors. This one here is adjustable. Oh, this one also requires 2 LEDs, whereas this one only requires one. So that becomes like a spacing thing. So maybe this takes up more, this RGB LED takes up more pins, but with 2 LEDs of being the same size, this takes up less space inside of the model itself. So if we have space considerations, we might want to use this RGB one. The other thing, which is something I'm aware of because I have terrible vision and I have astigmatism, is that certain people with poor eyesight can actually see the banding of different LED lights. So RGB, I don't like RGB colors. I do not like it when they mix, because the way my eyes are, I can actually see the bands of the different light come out. So how RGB works is they get 3 light sources like this, and each of them is a different light source, and they kind of like blend them together to make different colors. This works for people that have good eyesight. For me, because I have astigmatism, I can actually see like the rays of red and the rays of like yellow, etc. Green and blue, because that's the RGB. I can see those banding out, so I can actually tell when a color is actually a true single color, or when it's being mixed with multiple colors in like an RGB setup LED. So that's just something personally that doesn't hit most people, but it's annoying for me. The other thing we can do is, maybe he doesn't need it to actually change colors. So what we can do is we can have like a film and we use one colored LED. And the benefit of that is it's cheaper. It's cheaper, smaller, both on pins and both on your pins and on your actual like space you take up in the system. And then the other thing we have, the downside of this is obviously it's not as cool, but it is cheaper. So, but yeah, so let's see. For opening, we have a couple options as well. And this is where it gets kind of crazy. And I was thinking about this before. There are a lot of different ways we can go about opening and closing. So the first way I was thinking about is using one of these. Let me see if I have it on hand. Ah, here we go. The first thing I was considering was using one of these. This is a little servo motor. Oh shoot, this is a continuous servo. This isn't gonna do what I want it to do. Oh well. But we can use a servo motor. And what those usually do is that they have like an arm. So we'll have some sort of thing that looks like this. And then we will have some sort of arm. It can go up and down. So in this, the servo, the benefit is that we can control the position of the up and down. And then we can also, what was I going to say? Yeah, we can control the position of the up and down. There are a couple different ways we can do it. We can do it kind of like a trash can. If you've ever seen like a trash can lid that has like the foot pedal, really what you're doing is you have a big lever, and instead of and there's a pivot point, and you use your foot to push down on this. What we're doing instead is we're just controlling that pivot point, and we can push this up, and it will come up over to the side like that. Thing is, we have to be aware that this is going to shift back and forth, and we can use that to open the lid. The other thing we can do is we can have the servo hooked up to like a gear, and then the gear has like another thing here that hooks up to the hinge of the lid, and that actually like by the hinge lifts it up and down. That one is kind of, I want to avoid this one because it's hard to get the servo up by the hinge. This one has the advantage is I can put like the servo in the bottom of the container here. So I can have like a hidden compartment underneath where all the games go in, so that it can like flip up and down. And then we don't have to worry about losing space up here for other components. The other thing I was considering doing is we can use a spring. So I was considering having something like a latch. There's a spring-loaded mechanism. We can have like a hinge spring that sits like this. So basically, this wants to force the lid open, and we have some sort of latch here. So you push it down, the latch goes, and you can use like an electric field or magnetic field to open and close the latch. And when it opens, it pops up. Honestly, I don't know how many small latch components are out there on the market. But if they're cheap and they're small, this might be the way to go, because it doesn't have as many moving parts as this. The downside of just doing this is that we don't have control over the close function. We can't get it to close on its own. We have to like go over and click it down. But I don't think my friend really cares too much about closing it. I think he just cares that it opens. But in the TikTok he showed me, it can both close and open. So I imagine that was a servo. Unfortunately, what I have is a continuous servo, and they are used for like robot wheels. So they're really good at pushing things, but they're slow. That's the trade-off you make. So now, since I don't have a servo, and all we have are basically DC motors and continuous servos, I am going to just focus on the light section for today. All right. Let's get the most basic of components working. I'm going to try and get the RGB working. We'll use this big one, but I do have smaller ones. Let me look up the documentation for this RGB really quick. I do not know which one it has. I imagine this is a common cathode type, where they share a common ground. So yeah, let's get this pinned up somewhere and we can figure it out as we go. This is the long one though, right here. It's in the middle. So I'm going to actually bring out, and I think I'm going to bring out a jumper cable, and I think that this over here, I think that this is the ground. So I am going to bring this over. Actually, I already have a ground. So I'm going to bring it over here. Actually, do I have actual, like, nice jumper cables? I have them somewhere, but I don't know where they are. The ones that are, like, stiff and small. Yeah, I don't know where they are. So you're just gonna have to deal with the jumbled mess for now. Okay. So, and then the other thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to figure out which one of these is red. So I'm going to use, which pin is this? The 8 pin. Oh, shoot. And then I need my resistors. Let's see. Do I have my 100 ohm resistors? I don't. What are these? 1K resistors. Could use 1K. It truly doesn't matter which one I use. I just want it to be bright. 220? We'll go with 220 ohm. So when you're linking up LEDs, generally you want a resistor in front of them. And the reason we do this is because if you don't, the LED doesn't really resist the current going through very well, so it will go really bright and then it'll burn itself out. Okay. So start with this. And then I will start up the Arduino IDE. I guess the big thing I want to do is I want to be able to program the RGB. A lot of this I haven't really done before. Like, I am familiar with the concept. It's just I haven't physically done it on a board before. All right, let's see. Go to examples. Go to basics. Sensors control communication. Analog, digital. Let's see. we'll just get blank started. Blink. Using LED built-in. Initialize the digital pin, LED built-in as an input, as an output. And let me see, let me do red pin. We'll do R LED. It's equal to 8. Do R LED. Okay. Our LED was not declared in the scope. Maybe I need to define it before the void setup. Try that. Let's just try putting in 8. Try that. Oh, I still have the R LED set up, so it's going to scream at me. Okay, if we did it right. No device found on COM 3. Oh, dang, we might need to... It's on COM 5. Shoot. Try it one more time. Sorry, I didn't actually upload. I didn't actually, I guess do it properly. There we go. Let's see. Does not look like it's actually doing anything. Another way we can do this is by checking this 3-volt power pin and try hooking it up here and seeing if it works. The other thing I can do is maybe this LED is burnt out or it's faulty. So we can also try just doing this. I think this should be anode to cathode. We could also have them reversed. That is very, very possible. Let me see. Do this really quickly. Okay, well, that light turns on. Not sure why this light doesn't turn on. Yeah, because we can do like this and make another. This is the digital 8 pin, right? Yeah. This could also be could also be losing too much. Fascinating. Let's just yank all these out for now. We don't want to make it excessively complicated for us until we absolutely have to. Okay. So hook this up to ground. And we will try hooking this up like so. If that doesn't work, let's try turning it around. That's crazy. That should be lighting up. So we're already running into issues, which is... Oh, wait. That could be it. Nope, still not. This might be burnt out. I might have burned it out because I hit it. I hit it without putting it in a... Without putting it with a resistor. There we go. Yeah, that one works. Okay, yeah. So this is... I burnt that out immediately. Alright, so we have a green light. Let's try hooking up this up to the 8 pin. It should be blinking. There we go. Okay, so we have confirmed this is indeed blinking. So I guess the next thing to do is find out how this ticks. So I'm going to assume that this is ground. And then we should be able to get this to light up. This is not. In which case, let's try turning it around. And there we go. Okay, so that's red. That's green. And that's blue. Oh, shoot. And then if we hook this up to power, hook this up to 3-volt logic, if we shoot, this is a common ground one, I think. Do not know how to hook this one up. If we hook this up, we should see both colors. If we hook it up to ground. We're not seeing both colors. Interesting. Okay. So we'll leave that there. Let's look up how to... Maybe let's look up how to do an RGB LED. I know, this is riveting. I can change the color that's blinking at you currently. 10 out of 10 content, I know. Okay, the RGB LED can emit different colors by mixing the 3 basic colors, red, green, and blue. So it actually consists of 3 separate LEDs, red, green, and blue, packed in a single case. That's why it has 4 leads. 1 lead for each of the 3 colors, and 1 common cathode or anode depending on the RGB LED type. In this tutorial, we'll be using a common cathode one. I think I have a common anode one. Let's see if the small one is a common cathode. Basically what that means is does it have a common positive end or does it have a common negative end? And how you program this will be different depending on what you do. So let's pull out this small one. And if this small one, I was doing the big one because it's easy to see, but if this small one is better for us, we'll use that. Okay. So I'm going to hook, going to hook this up to our ground. And I'm going to try poking these different leads. No. I guess if I try this, also blink? No? These could also just be old parts and they're broken. It does happen. Oh, I see. I see. Silly me. Nope. I don't think that's it. Nope. Okay. So let's not short this out. Try pinning this in. Okay, there we go. We're going to use the small one because it's the common cathode version. So that means that the... Hey, Ari. Howdy, cutie. Ari is drunk again and still drinking. Well, welcome on in, Ari. We're having riveting video of a LED blinking at us. I hope this entertains you. Let's see. But yeah, I saw you were you were streaming It Takes Two. How did that go for you? I mean, you know, given your inebriated state. I drunk everything. Will entertain me, yes. But my collab partner quit after an hour and a half. And to be honest, fine. I can function. You can, sorry, I can function. Okay, so we can... Can change the color of this, but it seems to be it seems to default to certain ones. So like this defaults to green. Oh, I think I shorted it out for a second. And this defaults to red. I said function, not spell. I guess that's fair. Okay, so I might need PWM signal to get these to work properly. So we will just have the blinking light be on screen for now while I learn how to wire this up. Let us see. The cathode will be connected to the ground, and the 3 anodes will be connected through 220 ohm resistors to 3 digital pins. I feel like they're trying to do this to get you to use more resistors. Oh well. Because you can use 1 if you put it on the common ground, which is what I'm doing right now. Cathode will be connected to the ground, and 3 anodes will be connected through 220 ohms resistors, which happen to be the ones we're using right now, to 3 digital pins on Arduino board that can provide PWM signal. Yeah. We'll use PWM for simulated analog output, which will provide different voltage levels to LEDs so we can get the desired colors. Interesting. Potentially, shoot, do I have potentiometers here? I have potentiometers. I could do this analog. I do not. I'm gonna have to order some more. Note to self, order more potentiometers. Oh, no, we have one right here. We have 1 potentiometer. Yeah, we'll use the PWM signal. We would need 4. So yeah, welcome on in, Ari. So I am working on a project right now. A good friend of mine saw a TikTok. And he's like, hey, you're an engineer. Can you make this happen? So the idea is there is this chest in The Legend of Zelda, the Breath of the Wild, and also Tears of the Kingdom. The little monster chest, and it's set up so that when you beat all the monsters, the eye color that's glowing changes and it opens up. So we're kind of trying to do that, and he wants to store Switch games in it. So we've broken it down into different systems of functions it has to do, and we are working on making the eye color change. So we're trying to do it with the single RGB LED. So let's see how we can do that. So I'm seeing here. So they have this all wired up and then they are writing to it. Let's see. We'll use pins number 7, 6, and 5. I'll name them red pin, green pin, and blue pin. Very creative. In the setup section, we'll need to define them as outputs. On the bottom of the sketch, we have made this custom-made function named setColor. Okay. So let me see what it has. Oh, I had to declare integer. Oh, I forgot that. I have to, it doesn't just automatically know what I'm trying to tell it. Okay. So let us see. Ba, 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 ba. Oh, yeah. Let's bring up the IDE. Let's make a new sketch. New sketch. And we will do the time classic of we will, you know, copy someone else's homework and make it look like our own. Eight. We will use, let's use 10 as red. The nice thing is I have like colored leads, so we can like color them and color coordinate them, which is kind of cute. I would say if it would reach. So let's move this over here. Okay. So we'll set up red here. Green will set up here. And then I believe the last one was blue. Let's see if we have a blue cable. We do have a blue cable. Ten, 9, 8. Yeah, so how is everybody enjoying their Saturday? I've been busy cleaning and cooking and doing stuff around the house. And it, well, yeah, yes, Ari. I guess drunk is a state. It is like a state of mind. I guess I should say other than the drunkenness, how are you doing? No, that's pin 9, not pin 69. That would be nice. Green pin 9, and then blue pin 8. Void setup. And then we need to go back and look at... No, I don't need to download the manual. And then we have a void loop, void set color. Let's see what this is doing. Oh, okay. So the set color, we've made a function where it just writes the color that we want, and then we're just having it cycle through different colors. So let's upload this. So we should see it cycle through red, green, blue, white, and then some other... Sorry, one second. And then some other red, and then blue. And it should then go to purplish, if I'm reading this correct. Red, green, blue. Well, that was not white, but it did become purple. Okay. We may need to fiddle around with the settings. Because some of the... What might be happening is that some of the LEDs in here might be brighter than the others, which is why setting them all to its maximum value, all three colors, may not be working. Okay, I'm going to comment stuff out. How do I comment out an Arduino IDE? Shoot. Go to format selection. LoZ. Let me see. This is real programming right here, where we immediately go to Google to find out what the comment symbol is in this. Working then drunk. Well, at least it's that way and not the other way around. Drunk then working. Let's see. I had a coworker when I worked at a warehouse, and he would show up drunk all the time. Mind you, we're driving forklifts, so that was always interesting. Drunk and or high. Sometimes a combination of the both. Let's see. Oh, there is an Arduino reference. That's nice. Structure. For syntax. Comments are on lines in the program that are used to inform, beginning a block comment or multi-line combat. Okay. Yeah, let me... Let me end that code. So this was a purple color. Let's see what, if we want a yellow. How do you make a yellow with RGB? I imagine it'd be, because red and blue is purple. Red and green? Let's try that. That's still looking really red. Let's try doing 170 on the red. I think the red is a very... Well, honestly, the blue should be the most intense color because it has the most energy in it. But the red is overpowering it for some reason. Okay, well that looks a bit like a yellow. It's kind of icy green. What do you guys see? Is this... Oh, it just... Do you guys see green or yellow, a combination of the two? I'm seeing yellow on one end and green on the other. Not sure how well this camera catches this. Let's try 150. Actually, let's just try 100. Do halfsies. That is very, very green. With like a hint of yellow in the middle. Let me try doing 200. So what I'm doing is I'm adjusting the intensity. Oh, that's a yellow-ish. I'm adjusting the intensity of the different LEDs to get the color I want. This isn't Baldur's Gate. Yeah, I got bored of decorating my camp with different corpses. Welcome on in, Sam. We're trying to adjust the color values on this LED to get us the colors that we want. Say that again for the therapist. Therapist in the back. The therapist that I totally have, and... True story though, I did go to therapy a couple times, and it freaked me the heck out because my therapist looked me straight in the eyes as like, I believe in the dark demons that are conspiring against you. I was like, oh, okay. this is uncomfortable. I was like, look, I have like a medical condition, like let's talk about being productive, you know? I'm not gonna blame those demons. I'm blaming my brain chemistry. Interesting. Gosh darn it, Sam. That's what the other therapist said. Okay, so I think this is a good... I'm going to write this down. Okay. And R G B values from 0 to 255. Why 255? Because 255 is like the maximum value I think that you can get in a bit. And analysis and therapists. I'm not saying that, Sam, but fair point. So yellow is something like, what was this? I think this is the best yellow that we've had. That's 190, 255, and then 0. We could fiddle around with the blue. I don't think the blue is gonna do much, but 20. Let's try doing a 20. Let's see what interesting color this comes up with. Didn't change much. I think 20 is like barely visible. Is this an LED so you can communicate with Rovercoon? Oh no, so I'm actually working on a request that a friend of mine had. So let me upload this really quick. But yeah, so here's the request. So as all good ideas started, my friend saw a TikTok. And the TikTok is of a chest that somebody made, like a model of a chest, and it holds their Switch games. But this one is based off of a chest from The Legend of Zelda, the most recent games, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. And that one, there's a chest that when you beat all the enemies, it has like these purple eyes, if I recall. And when you beat all of them, the eyes turn yellow and then it opens itself up. Oh, you saw that TikTok. Okay, well, maybe it's more common than I thought it was. But yeah, he wanted me to make something similar to that. So I'm thinking of the different ways that we can do it. Today, I've broken it up into different things it does. And today, I only have like the components to work on the light up eye part. So we're trying to program different different eye colors, if you will. So we're using an RGB programmable LED. But I am not seeing a lot of difference here, honestly, with adding the blue color. Oh, okay. So it's kind of turning more white now. Kind of. I can see it at the base. But definitely I can see banding. Like I can see red, white, and green lights. I'm not sure what you guys can see. So I'm going to set this back to 0 again. We could set it higher so we could get a more intense light, technically. Okay, and then I'm going to uncomment out the purple color. So we should start going between yellow and purple. That purple looks really good, and the yellow not so much. Yeah, because the other thing we can do with this is the other setup, which is the following. Is we can take my box of LEDs here. I made a huge miscalculation. Now I'm sleeping in my hallway next to the boxes. I am sorry. I don't know how to help you with that. But yeah. So I have what should be yellow and purple LEDs. And we should be able to set this up like this, like so. Should be able to get them to alternate. So we'll get them to alternate, and I will get it to do this simultaneously. We'll hook this up to the blue. And then we will hook this up to the green. We'll see which colors we like better. And I think these are backwards. Yeah. Indeed, backwards. Let's try that. We should get on the second and third, we should get a more intense color. You know, honestly, I'm liking this one better. I'm liking this one better. Engineer me a hovering bed. How was your weekend? It's going okay. I was mostly just doing housework, and then I wanted to start looking at how to do this. So yeah, so I'm thinking based on what we're seeing here on the components I have, I think I like this one better. However, this one might be drawing more current, so let me unplug them really quick. Let me unplug this really quick, see if we get brighter lights here. We do not. Okay, yeah, so I think this one is going to be the way to go. Going forward. I mean, some of these lights are really cool. I like the orange one. I used these to make a light for these colored ones to make like a little squishable light for my sister once for a Christmas present. It's like those cheap ones that you can get like off of AliExpress and stuff, but I 3D printed it out of like soft material and then like wired stuff up. So it had a bunch of these. So the more of these LEDs you can get, like the brighter you can make it. So I made it brighter with more of these, but this one's really good. Okay, let me see. Let me save the colors that we did. It was 190, 240, and then the purple was something around 170, 0, 255. So those are the two colors that we're going to save. Let me see. I might be able to try out the servo a little bit. But I think I'm going to need to order actual, like, non-continuous servos. So we can do that. And then we can price out how much one of these RGB small LEDs is. Wait, was this the big one? Or is this the small one? No, this is the small RGB LED. Yes. Let's see. So let me just do a quick online search of how much these would be. I think DigiKey has them for like $2. The King Bright ones, yeah, the King Bright ones are about $2. One King Bright RGB LED. So that's about $2.04 is what it said. And then, actually, how many comments? Is that just one? That's has to be more than one, right? Oh, no, yeah, no. That's just how much it is for one. You can make it cheaper by buying more of them, but this isn't like a high production thing, so I'd have to charge the full price for that. And then let's see what sensors we can use. Big brain prices, yeah. Servo motor basics with Arduino. I did this once a long time ago, but I haven't done it since. Let us get our motor. This is a 3-pin motor. This brown one should be ground. The red one should be... Usually these are coded. Brown one should be ground. The red one should be the live wire, or the one that supplies the higher voltage, and then this one should be the signal that we use to control it. So we can probably hook that straight up. You know what? I say we can hook that straight up. Let's not hook it straight up. Let's give it a little resistor to keep it from blowing out, potentially. I wonder if you could engineer me a tally light switch for my PVM. I mean, it probably already exists. Does it just switch a light on and off? Because, like, if so, you can just probably just adapt another switch, but that's more of like, if you're, when you're working with stuff that you're like making a replacement part for, sometimes it's a bit more complicated because you have to have like the part on hand with you. Okay. Okay, and then we'll hook this up to ground. The tally light can only be turned on via remote. Oh, okay. Well, if it's is it just like it's not receiving the signal anymore, or is the remote worn out? Oh, hey Pond. I can't find a remote in my budget that's compatible. That one we might be able to do, but it would be most useful if we had the original remote. The reason why is you can totally do that. I've done it before. It's how people make those universal remotes. Usually what's happening on a lot of remotes is that it's flashing infrared lights. So basically kind of like Morse code. And based on the signal flashing, it interprets what it is. So you just need to get it to signal the flash that the receiver understands as the signal to do whatever it is you want it to do. People already have the connection pin layout, so I just need 2 pins that fit the size and button on the other end. I have no big engineer brain and supplies. Yeah. Yeah, and again, like, I'm not an electrical engineer, so there might be more stuff. A lot of it is like, so I have never reverse engineered like most electronics. So that's something to keep in mind. Okay. We'll hook this up to the 7 pin. Hopefully this works. The big engineer brain. That's why we are the Axer. Axer, not a serial Axer. Is not big engineer brain. Not yet. Not yet, but he's getting there. Let's see. And let me see. I'm hearing weird sounds coming from something. You're gonna learn. Yeah. And that's what we're here. We're here to learn. Okay. I want a fun little star-shaped thingamajigger. I could screw this down. But where's the fun in that? We don't I just realized we don't really need it to stay put. We're not putting any torque on that. The medium brain. It's like medium rare. It's not quite fried. It's not dried out it's not dried out yet, like mine. Mine has been cooking for too long. Mine is well done and crispy like bacon. Let's see. Okay. So we can use the servo library. So someone is already like gone in. Yeah. So we have 3 wires. We have, yeah. And honestly, I could hook this up to the potentiometer, but I want to program it so that I don't have to get like my hands dirty on this. Don't screw it down. Solder it all down. Oh, you don't solder the plastic. Okay, let's just copy straight up the example that they have. And then I will adapt it to our needs. What is that sound? Sodomy it down. Oh goodness. I think this is the wrong. You want that orange Twitch for that. Or sorry, orange YouTube or whatever it is. Let's see, new sketch. That's the other platform. We don't do that here. Okay, include servo.h integer pot pin 0 analog pin used to connect the potentiometer, integer val variable to read the value from the analog pin. Scale it to use it with the servo value, a value between 0 and 180. Only engineers. Only brains. Last night working overnight, thank goodness. I brought 2 joints in my PC to play some games. It's going to be easy. Invite me to the store so you can eat roller grill food. Yeah, that sounds like a good time. I almost made hot dogs tonight, but then I realized I had the buns but not the hot dogs, so I didn't want to go out on a weekend to the store. I was like, nah, I got outside enough yesterday between going to the college and work. I was like, nah, I don't want to people anymore. My servo dot attach attaches the servo on pin 9 to the servo object. Is that the, which pin? Pin 0, enter value. Let me see, I need to look at their pinout to see which pins they're using to control things. Just let... I think the concept of like a roller cooker is really fun. Okay, so yeah, they're using the 9. Okay, they're using the 9 as the signal. Okay, got it. And then I have it set to 7. So let's attach this to 7. Attach it to 7. Read analog. Volume map pot pin. Val equals map. Val 0. My servo right val. I am just going to write it as... I think this is just going to... I'm going to write it as 180. I think this is just going to make it just continually turn. Because I think this is one that has the encoder taken out of it. So it just keeps turning. It could also be that I have not wired this properly. Okay, we're losing too much. I think we're losing too much energy through the resistor. Okay. So we're losing too much energy through the resistor. That's what it is. Let's see if we can find a smaller resistor value. Because I don't want to burn this out. I don't want to read the resistors. I just want to have them in a little thing container that I don't have to read. 1 mil, that's not going to do it. That's too big. 1K, also bigger than 220. $5K, also way too big. I guess the other thing we could do is we could do a rectifier diode. That'll drop it down just a little bit. And it'll also keep the, it should also keep the electricity going the right way. I believe these are diodes? I don't remember. Let's see if it works. If we do it the other way, it should not go. Okay, yeah. Extra flavor, more power. Remove the resistor, use all the power from the outlet. Power, yeah. So what I'm doing right here is this here is a diode. It's similar to an LED, it just doesn't emit light. But basically it's a gateway, and it's gonna drop the voltage just a little bit, so we won't have quite as much current going through. But the other purpose it serves, is that so you see here, this goes faster, and then when I do it here, it goes slower. So I'm purposely making this go slower so we don't burn out the electronics. But the benefit of this is it keeps the electricity from bouncing back in the case something goes wrong. So that's nice. Then my servo right. Zero. Okay, we'll try this one. So this one, it should loop. It should write and have it go 180, the speed that I've programmed it to. And then it should write it to stop for 15 seconds, and it should keep going, unless delay is in milliseconds. Delay. Pauses the program for the amount of time in milliseconds specified as parameter. Nope. We do not want to wait for 15 milliseconds. That is ridiculous. We'll wait for an entire second. It may make sense in the program, but it does not make sense in the it does not make sense in like physical world. So this should go for a second, and then it should stop for a second and alternate between those. Oh, okay. Yeah, I need to plug it back in. Sorry. Oh. So this one is different. So this is changing direction. So for this one, 0 changes the direction. So let me try writing it as 90. And maybe that stops it. There we go. Yeah, okay. Got it. Now it dance. Yeah. Oh man, I met a dude who works my job sometimes. He used to be an engineer at Dyneco when they were around, and showed me a prototype receiver he made before they closed up. This is what I need when I play The Sims. The very sinful things happen in my families. Oh dear. But yes, now it dance. Yeah, so we can also make this... I'm guessing it's between 180 and 0 using the server library. So 180 is probably its max speed. We can make it go slower. Let's give it 120. And then we can make it go the other way. So unfortunately for this one, it doesn't actually give us position. It gives us speed. So now I'm going to write it so that it goes both ways now. I'm going to write it so that it's going to go one direction for 1 second. It's going to stop for a second, and then it's going to go the other direction. There we go. Bisexual fan, got it. Yeah, basically. So this is... It is not working as it should. Uh-oh. So it was... Oh, I see. Okay. So the issue is that... Okay, I see. So it is working as I told it to, which is usually what happens with programming. It's just I forgot that it's looping. So I've given it 3 steps, and really I should give it 4. It's spinning left, it's stopping, and then it's spinning right in that order, but then it loops, so it immediately spins left again. So if I wanted it to stop between each set, I would do this. I would program in another stop, a second stop. So now this should do what I intended for it to do. There we go. I wanted to spin like a Rafflecopter. We could do a drone at some point. I've never made a drone before, but I know that there's a lot of documentation out there. There he goes. You know, this is actually pretty strong. This might work. But I still want a, 1 second. Let's turn that off. I still want a servo motor around this size that is programmable for position, because I'd rather program it to reach a certain position than just tell it how fast they go, because how fast it's going to go is going to change depending on how much like pressure is on the lever. So I'd rather program it for position rather than that. On the positional ones, it has a little encoder in it, so it's keeping track of how it's keeping track essentially of how how should I say this? It's keeping track of its position. So it basically tells it to keep going until it hits the position, and then it stops and holds that. So I think servo motor's probably the way to go, but we need to order one that allows us to program it properly. Aexer Drone Stream 1. It's gonna take a while. It's like these are my baby steps. So I'm gonna take some notes. So we'll use the RGB LED, 2 colors. And then open and close. We'll have the microcontroller take care of that. And we'll use a servo. I'm happy. I can't really quantify it because that's difficult to do, but I'm happy with how strong that servo was, so I'm gonna get one that's similar. And then at some point we will design the actual case. I may be able to find some like 3D files of this online, and then I can slice them up myself and then adapt them to our needs. To play the music, I might be able to do today. What time is it? No, we're not gonna do the music today. But let me just double check really quick if this is a piezo buzzer, like I think it is. So if this is a piezo buzzer, it should make this horrible, horrible sound when we plug this in. Well, let me plug this in again. Actually, pin into this yellow pin. And then oh, weird. I think its signal got messed up. Interesting. Because I was kind of... Interesting. I think we're getting some interference on something. I think it's because I'm using that signal to drive two different things. So it's getting interference. Let's see if we get a buzzing. Okay, that is in fact a buzzer. So we're getting some buzzing from that. So that is a component we can use. It's in the alien. Okay. So yeah, I'm happy with that. We do have a buzzer. We might be able to get this buzzer to play some sort of music. Play music. I'm not sure though, because like the sound that plays when in the game, that one might require actual small speakers, which would be very expensive compared to the buzzer. And then the trigger, I was thinking of using vibration. We could also have it set up so it uses something like this, which is a sonic sensor. This is very similar to what you see in like home security systems or like in your shop. This is a sonic sensor is what they use, I believe, for like automatic lights and stuff. But we might be able to get a smaller version of this. And it basically what it does is it detects when something is like, I can tune it so that it only goes off when someone's like right in front of it. So there, we can, I'm thinking of these two. The other one we can do would also be a light sensor. The issue with the light sensor is that it could also potentially go off based on the lighting in the room. So I kind of want to avoid that one. Because that assumes that like you have constant lighting, and you can compensate it for it a little bit. Cars do this in like their automatic light systems. They have a little light sensor. It's an infrared sensor that sits up on the dashboard. But they have much more powerful computers running their car. I say powerful, they're not really that powerful. But the thing is, they're just structured differently than our microcontrollers. So, yeah. So I think that's good for now. I think we've kind of sussed out like what we want to do with this. I think anything else would be a little bit like beyond the scope of the stream and would require more time. But I think what I am going to do is I am actually going to order these parts though. So I'm not going to show you though, because I'm not showing you guys my address, but I am going to go order these parts. But yeah, making a drone would be fun. I kind of wanted to do an RC car first. RC car doesn't run the risk of crashing from the sky. So let's maybe we'll start with like a little RC car. Let's get a pack of servo motors. And we'll do, you know, the wonderful Amazon.com. Man, I am old enough to remember when Amazon.com was just a bookstore. And now it's just the everything store. Let's see what servo motors they have up. They have these mini servos for $9. It's a pack of 5, which we can then use for other projects. I'm not sure what the difference between the MG90S and the other one is. Do they have... Okay, they do have dimensions. And then the MG90S, are those bigger? I'm looking at these and they look like they might be stronger, but they don't say anything. 1.3 inches by 1.2 inches. Versus... They're the same form factor. So I'll go with the cheaper ones. Rover Coon would be proud if he were here to see this. Oh, yes. And then, how do we do motion sensing? Could do an accelerometer. We don't really need a 6-axis accelerometer, but I think they're really, really common. They might be cheaper than a 3-axis accelerometer. Gravity tilt module for Arduino. Yeah. This one's $11 for 5 of them. So we'll do that one. Almost forgot to have my cat inside before the evil spirits get to her. Yeah, I mean, at the witching hour, it will be spooky month officially. I looked up sonic sensor and all I'm getting are like a bunch of toothbrushes and oxygen sensors for cars for some reason. I'm not seeing any smaller ones. Mini sense. It's mini camera. Nope. Mini sonic sensor. They do have the motion sensor with an IR sensor. And they do have some infrared. It might be cheaper just to get the components on those ones. Let's see. And let me see. Shoot, what the I forget what the sensor name is. It's been so long since I've taken that class. Infrared LED. Oh, they have just a pack of infrared LEDs and then receivers. That'd be awesome. I was also thinking with those ones, it might be really useful because you can use them. It'd be kind of fun to design our own little like wireless Wii sensor bar once I get my Wii set up for output. One of the issues I think, which is why a lot of people do not stream Wii games, is one, because they're old, and two, because it's a pain in the butt to use the Wii remote when you're next to your streaming setup. But that can be fixed by having an adjustable with LEDs, because all the sensor bar is on a Wii, if you open it up, it's just a bunch of infrared LEDs that shoot out in different directions. They're separated. So the only way that the program knows, that the controller knows how far away it is its perspective of how close together those lights are. So if you can move them closer together, then the system thinks that they're farther away, and then your Wii remote works better. In theory. What else do I need? Oh yeah, we need potentiometers. Ooh, they have a bunch of potentiometer kits. I like. Yeah, let's grab the... There's this Bojack kit. And then there's this Tice kit. Let's get the Tice kit. And then we'll get some switches. Yeah, and we'll get some toggle switches. We could also do some momentary tactile push buttons. So yeah, the next stream that we do like design on this, probably trying out those different components that I just ordered. And then making sure that they work. Add to cart. I don't think I need that many. We'll just get the one that's $5. Add to cart. Okay. So I'm getting like $40 worth of different components, but there's stuff I was out of anyway, so go to cart. think that's everything I need. I will definitely find out if we missed stuff, because I'll be like, oh, I don't have this. So those should be coming in Wednesday. So yeah. That will be fun. But yeah, so we played around with at least the software for the servo. So we'll make sure that that works with our other servo. It should. And then we got this working. We don't have this working. We don't actually have the files. We could look that up. 1 second. We could indeed look that up. All right, hold up. I think we'll do some more research for the stream. So Sam, did your cat actually come in this time? All right. Let us get up to our dark work of research. There we go. So oh no, now you guys can see my terrible programming. Don't look. Actually, you know what? Let us do that. We will save this one. Save, and this is going to be servo example. There we go. And then we want between these two colors. Yellow color. This is a function for setting the color code. through 225. Red pin, this is kind of self-explanatory. We'll save this as RGB LED. There. And now we've saved this for later so we don't like screw ourselves over. That's just blank. So I'm not worried about it. Don't save. And this is what we had up earlier. Yeah, let's look up Thingiverse. Deny. And then let's look up for Legend of Zelda chest. Oh. I think this is it. This is what we want. Well, Bokoblin chest cartridge and container box. Think files full bottom, full top. This might be what we're looking for. And then... yeah, so what I would do is I would take this and then I would modify it, hopefully in CAD, to work with it. Let's see. This is STL. Maybe there's one that has like an object file where they like built it or something. Let's duplicate this tab, go back. Big brain research. I call this this is the cartridge holder. Let's see, these files, upper, lower, floor, top, bottom, full. We'll save that one. Rover Coon holder W? Rover Coon holder when? I hold Rover. I hold him when I pick him up to charge him. Oh, that's what I needed. My charger, the charger, the LiPo charger that I ordered, doesn't work. I think I burnt it out because I hooked it up to too much. I think I hooked it up to like a 20 watt charger by accident, and that's way too much for that thing. It's expecting like something like 5 watts at most. Is this it? These are all the things. Okay. Let's see what the comments say. This is a nice thing to put on my desk, 10 out of 10. Will it open up? I mean, comments. Great design. I printed with 1900, filled 20%, and top of the chest with 5mm supports. This means nothing to me, an i3D print. So I have no idea what he's talking about. It needed a lot of support material. How do you close it? There are holes in the back, but nothing to put it in to make the mechanism work. Love it, but I'm curious, what were your print settings? Okay. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything like a hinge on the... oh, okay, there are hinges back here. So we can make this work. $69 LWWI or WL. I can't read. I cannot read. Yeah, I think we'll save both of these for now. And we may... That takes a lot of the work out of it for us, because that's like a really complex... that's a really complex geometry. So let's not deal with that. I do like this one. These are kind of fun. And they have a little cuckoo as well. We could print a cuckoo. Oh well. But yeah, I think that's good. 69 watts. Close. I think I use a couple different chargers. I think the nice thing with like USB-C charging is that a lot of stuff can use stuff, but then also the not nice thing is that you never know like how much power you should be plugging into one thing, because it used to be that like if it didn't fit, it wasn't your charger. But now you can get a bunch of different power bricks to fit into things that shouldn't necessarily be taking all that power. So that's always fun. All right. So I do think that for tonight we're gonna wrap stuff up. USB 1.1 connection to troll someone. C connection. I think you can technically do it. Because you have enough pins. You just undo some of the pins. Because like I believe 2.0 is compatible with 1.1. And same with like 3.2 backwards. So like they're based off of the same like connector. So technically you can. You can with 2. Yeah, exactly. I would need to look more into the documentation. I don't really want to, because holy crap, USB documentation. Holy crap. Yeah, there are like 5 post 3.2 standards going on right now. Yeah, exactly. It honestly, it scares me. It scares me a little bit. All right, let's see who's on. Okay, are you guys feeling Resident Evil 4, Dead by Daylight, or Party Animals? RE4? Okay, and then I ask you one more question. Do you want American RE4 or do you want Australian RE4? It's weird that I have to ask this question, but I actually do have to ask this question. America? Okay. We are going to go visit, and don't cancel me for saying this. We are going to go visit I Beat Pandas. We're going to go visit I Beat Pandas. So he is playing Resident Evil 4 right now. I'm not sure if it's the remake or not. I don't want to watch someone who lost the war against emus. That cuts deep. But yeah, one second. Let's get our raid up and going. But yeah, so be nice to Pandas. He's really chill. Yeah, he's really chill. One second. So he is doing the remake. He's really chill, and I think he hangs out a lot on some artist streams that I watch. So I think that's where I know him from. What should be our raid message? How about this? It should be spin to win, because we were making servos spin. If I can get this to highlight. There we go. Speen Dween. Sounds like a Price is Right reference. But yeah. No, thank you guys so much for coming by and hanging out with me. It was nice to just hang out and learn some new things with you guys, and then just hang out and chill. So I will be getting on tomorrow. I think tomorrow we will play a little bit more of Sonic Frontiers and maybe finish up the next island. But yeah, I want to let you guys know I appreciate you. I'll see you. Bye.